Okay, folks, I've decided to go live today just to test it out without being on another platform in regards to like whatnot I was testing out for the fashion, which connected up with YouTube, and now I'm just testing out the YouTube live stream just to see how it works. I don't know like how it's going to happen. All I know is I think it's important that I start doing them a little bit more frequently. So rather than me just doing like live videos or videos to like adjust and edit, I'm going to go ahead and start doing live streaming since I'm capable of doing that. So I know a lot of people probably don't know me. My name is Cinta, and I don't just work on music, I also work on fashion. So I do like Poshmark, I've made garments. I kind of mold the two together because that's just how my life has been. Empty project. And what I think I'm going to do today is just maybe work on some ideas musically. Maybe you guys want to see me doing like something live in regards to a small production experiment. I have other pieces that I have produced in the past. I know it's definitely a last minute thing. In regards to, I don't know if you guys can hear me, in regards to my setup. Just checking everything is connected. This is what my little corner of studio space you can see, put the lights on and stuff, of my little tiny studio space looks like. I have Logic Pro, which is like, I think, the most updated version that we had to re-put into the computer because the computer's drive broke down, so we had to kind of literally recreate the space. And I have been using my phone with like it's like a garage band for the music, and then also my iPad, which now has Logic Pro on there too. So I've kind of been dabbling with all three kind of like layouts, and I've been testing out how all of them could actually work. I can also do music theory, so if people have any questions on music theory in regards to piano or understanding notes or all of those things, I could probably, because I do teach music, and I have been teaching music for years now. I have one student at the moment. Usually once they get to high school, because I don't teach in a high school, I sort of teach, I used to teach like younger students, and then Guitar Center. This was my Guitar Center thing. Here's my little, I'm gonna take it off my wall. This is my little memory of, little memory of my years at Guitar Center. They usually give you your shirt and like all of these little badges and stuff. I was there for a few years. Now I just have it posted as one of my little bits and pieces here. So I was doing pretty good with teaching students classical music and some jazz and some, I don't know, some pop, mainly piano. And we generally get students together for like live performances. And what would usually happen is I would be the one in the background kind of bringing the show together with the other teachers and making sure the equipment works. So we did a little bit of sound engineering as well. So I do have a background in music. My mom is a music teacher, or was. She's an opera singer. My sister's in jazz. So, and then I used my music through my universities. So it wasn't just music. I sort of kind of dabbled with bringing the music into the art world. It's just been an interesting experience. So I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm using my mic. I usually, when I record, I usually use this mic because I think the quality is pretty good. And yeah, that's basically it. And I think I'm going to do a couple more, or I'll just consistently go on to doing lives because I feel as if this is something I just haven't done. And I feel like it's something I probably should do. Let me just open up an older track. I can even show you the things that I had worked on on my iPad, which is over there. So I'm going to have to shift through that section to pull out my iPad. If you'd like to see what Logic Pro looks like on the iPad and how GarageBand, so you can start off with GarageBand and then bring the GarageBand into Logic Pro, which is what I've been kind of playing around with. So start with GarageBand on the iPad or the iPhone and then swivel it into the Logic Pro, because you can do that. There's accessibility to do that. Asia. I know I've played this a few times. I'll just close this, but let me just see. We were doing a sound check here to see if everything was working out. No, I don't want to download any strange noises. Let me just see. So we had more, there was other things in the background. I don't know what happened to... Yeah, so that's just playing the piano part. So I composed that piece. I don't know if anybody's here. I composed that piece. Let me just see if it's on. I don't even know if people are watching. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guide your privacy. Yep, community standards. Absolutely. Oh, it is live, I think. Let me bring... Sorry, I'm going to have to bring this over here. Bring this over here. Let me show you my background and have an article at the... So my background, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I set this up properly for the live so people can actually see me. But I think just to start becoming consistent in doing the lives is going to help a little bit. And I feel that's something I've been lacking in on the live stream with YouTube. I have been doing quite a few lives on Poshmark because Poshmark also requires you to do that when you do sales. So I do Poshmark as well because I have actually studied fashion as well. The article that I have at the Smithsonian, I've sort of spoken about it, but not really to an extent, was actually a textile exhibition that ended up at the Smithsonian Library in the not African American, but African history, like the African departments, because I am half South African. My mom's South African, so I'm legally South African, right? And this was an interesting, those little things need to be tightened a little bit. The show was related to South African, not diaspora, but South African information and research and all that stuff. So it dealt with textiles and how to create like a business in South Africa without like electricity. So people are talking about the concerns of what happens if the electricity goes down in the United States. What can you do? Well, my theory on this is to have more than one skill. I've proven that that actually is the case. Like in South Africa, I didn't have all this equipment there because having equipment in South Africa, people would usually go into studio spaces and things would go missing because I've just known that. So here in the States, I'm in a little bit of a safer environment where I can actually have stuff like this. In South Africa, I was making clothing. I was performing on occasion. Let me play a little bit so you guys can hear. I've never really done a live. I don't know if people... play a little bit now. And I'm growing my hair out. I usually would dye the roots, but I'm just giving my hair a rest. I usually do that myself. That is going through, so my keyboard is going through the speakers into the sound that I have in the Logic Pro, which I adjusted according to the sound of the keyboard that I produced, which is why it turns into, it has like good volume. So sometimes when I like maybe play live, this is something that I enjoy kind of working through to have it into this kind of situation. It sounds more like a fuller space, which is cool. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So that sound actually does kind of do a really good job. It's just it's a keyboard with a bit of an echo. That's all it is there. And say, for instance, I wanted to use, I'm going to do that right now, actually. It's a good idea. I'm going to connect my little tiny speaker. So I have this kind of like a separate sound. It's almost like sound engineering right now. A separate sound into, hold on, let's get this together. Let's play around with sounds now. That's a good idea. Is this plugged in is the question. I think my sewing machine is plugged in. No, it's plugged in. Okay, that's plugged in. Now we need okay, so what I'm going to do, this is just how, you know, I'm going live so you guys can see. Oops! Oh, God. Losing contact everywhere. All the all the things that can go wrong now in a space are going wrong. That's just wonderful. Yes, I know the action there went down. Sorry about that. Moving things around at the same time. It's never easy. But like I say, I'm test running this. It's going live. There are lots of glitches. I'm going to have to see how this works out. Now I'm going to use one of my, now I'm not using the studio that I have is actually literally a one studio apartment. So I have had to find ways to utilize the space. Now, I lived in Japan, so the Japanese are absolutely fantastic when it comes down to space structure. So we've done the same. I've done the same type of thing in this situation. I hope you guys can hear me. Welcome in, whoever's here. So I'm playing the piano. This is how I like to. If it sounds like I'm working on music, I am. I do both music and fashion. If anybody is kind of into that kind of stuff. Even though it says compose music with Cinta, I realize that the world doesn't always do the combination of things. So I've kind of had to link my clothing kind of idea into my YouTube without being like too intrusive. I'm a Poshmark ambassador, if that helps. Let's see now. Where was I? I was going to do... Oh yeah, I'm going to go into Logic. No, let's do Logic. So I purchase Logic regularly on, let me just see if the speaker's working. So we can see what's going on. And that's going through another speaker, so. For instance. Okay, so I'm kind of playing around with a couple of different layouts. The sound of the drums are a little too crazy. Okay, so let's start over again. Let's go back to this. Let me get to the editing. Gosh. Let me close that. Okay, let's go into that sound. Where is that sound? I think the volume was a little crazy, so let's see. Beats. Let's do another one. Let's not do A minor. Let's switch over to... So folks, this is a test run, whoever's here right now, just to see how the lives work out. This is sort of new for me. I haven't really done the lives in this kind of format before. This is definitely acting up. What is going on with my electronics? Open. Close that, sorry. Let's do this. Let's start over again. I'm going to start with, let's start with something. Okay, so I'm going to start over again. We're going to use GarageBand to start with, and then we're going to switch it into Logic. Okay, so we're going to keep it simple today. This is untaped or unedited, so this is, you guys are seeing this completely raw, and there are always like errors when it comes down to this kind of stuff. So my apologies if it's not perfect. I mean, I think this is why people come watch this kind of stuff, is because it is raw footage. I'm going to create a loop. Okay, and this is the same type of thing that I would do on the computer here, but I find that not everybody has or can afford, like, even this was a whole thing because the computer died and it took me 3 months and my husband to put it back up, so it's been interesting. So we're gonna test out some. Okay, the volume's a bit loud, so let's lower the volume there. Okay, so you can use loops as well, which is cool. Back in the day when I was in high school and I studied production in Tokyo, we had to create our own loops. You can still create your own loops, but they've made it easier where you can actually just put the loops in and make even more detail with individual loops and then adding on, which is what I just do now because sometimes it's a good idea to just do it that way. So let's do, hold on. Okay. Let's do it in A minor, and we're going to switch it to A minor. So, key signature, you can go into this little like settings button over there if you need to, okay? And that settings button goes into tempo, time signature, key signature, time rules. So we're going to change the key signature from C major to A minor, which is sort of like the same type of situation, not really. This is C major. This is A minor. Okay, so A minor. Okay, so now we switched it to A minor. Let's see the keys, the tempo. 110 is a little much. Let's try slowing it down to 85, just to start with. Okay, so I'm literally just kind of playing around with stuff right now. And also testing out how the lives work, because I haven't really, like I said before, I haven't really done a live. This is sort of like a live thing that I'm testing out, folks. Let me just see what this is. Oh, I see. Where can I share this with? I wouldn't want to share it. Honestly, wouldn't want to share it with Facebook, because I'm on the Facebook monetization stuff. It's a whole different story there. Okay. I should share it. I wish I could share this to Pinterest or something. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so let's do... Okay, now that we have that, let's go back into loops. The loop thing over there literally looks like a loop. It's over here. There's the loop thing. This is the GarageBand, but the GarageBand links into the Logic. I just find it's a lot easier to work with GarageBand and then have it sunk into Logic when you're ready with just a general idea, and then you can play around with it in Logic, because there's more advanced stages you can go into with that, which I've been testing out. So I'm sort of enjoying the portability of moving equipment around. It's just a thing that I'm doing now, and I find that if you're doing things like Facebook and other platforms that need music, this is a good way to create music without worrying about like copyright issues, because there are things like copyright. You can't use other people's music. It's just how it is. So I found that being a musician has become very useful, because this opens up that door to allow me to just be like playing my instruments, or yeah, that kind of stuff. Don't like that. Bit loud. Let's lower the volume there. We're just testing out sounds. Okay, so the purpose of today is I'm going to do a background, and then you can see like how I can use this for like live stuff. So this is, I like that guitar. We're going to use that guitar. Now we're going to try something else. This is all going to be all in A minor, except for the drums. The drums are just... Okay, that could be interesting. Let's try that. It's just like a synthesizer. That sounds like it's in a different, it's not in a minor. They change it. Sounds like it changes. That sounds like A major. Yeah, that's A major. I don't know why that's placed in A minor, but okay. Interesting. So this is how I've been kind of working on music. I literally just kind of play around with stuff here. I like that. It has like a dubstep sort of. Hold on. Why isn't this? Okay. That's definitely dubstep. So even though this is a test run, I'm also going to use this as a, if anybody has any questions, feel free to answer or ask any questions on music, basic music related information. This is, feel free to do that. I like that congos. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So I'm not recording anything, it's just... Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm not really, this is a composition. I'm playing around with ideas, and this is how I do it. Now, unfortunately, when it comes down to using, you can record on the keyboard on the iPad, but as somebody that plays the piano, I feel like I need to have the whole entire piano in front of me, which is where having it on the desktop is useful, but to play around with ideas and to create a concept, this is a good way to start it. And I find that this is my approach to things. And then once I have the idea, then I can kind of like move it forward. But this is great. This is like, I enjoy. Okay, so that's a general kind of concept. Yeah, I'm not going to do any recordings. I could talk about what I just did. So I'm doing just like, so I'm going to stop that right now. I may use this for something else in a little bit, but what I'm doing in my left hand is it's just an A minor. And like I say, you know, when you're composing music, I don't think just having an ear is good. I think it's important to have the theory behind it. I do think music theory has a lot to do with growth and development in the music world. I don't see it being separated. I think it's very important to understand both. If I didn't know that was an A minor, I probably would have just come up with anything, and yeah. So I have like 3 measures and I'm going in and out. That's a fifth, this is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's a 6. So and when you compose music, it's not an over, like, I think if I didn't know more or less the type of sounds that I liked, I think it would be a lot harder for me to experiment with that. So yeah, it's just, you know, I'm going to use this space for people who are interested in learning something, obviously. I mean, I like to produce music, but if you guys have questions on fashion as well, feel free to ask me questions here on the fashion. I'm going to try to make these like, I think Tuesdays might be good, because then what happens is I also do my Poshmark show at around 3-ish, 4-ish on today on Tuesdays. So if I can get like the lives out of the way on one day, that would be good. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do YouTube as consistently as I want to because I am also being monetized on the Facebook, and that takes a lot of time and work. So I'm trying to balance out my times, but it's extremely hard to do everything at once. So I have to kind of schedule everything. And I think if I'm going to be doing the Poshmark show today, then Tuesdays will be the days I focus on the YouTube lives as well. Okay, folks, it's a very quick talk. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop over. I'm going to try my best to do just Tuesdays at around this time, lunch-ish. Only because it's hard for me to do it on like multiple days at the moment because I have all these other things that I'm doing, from having to post 5 items a day on Poshmark, and then Facebook is consistent. It's like every 5 minutes I have to be on there making sure it's like organized. And yeah, like production and composition takes time, so this is a work in progress, and I'm just giving a small little introduction for me to be just playing around with live stuff right now. Yeah. I don't know. There's songs that I haven't practiced in a while, classical music. And then, yeah, pieces that I've composed. But this song took me a while to do. And there, you know, this, you have to think through a piece. It doesn't happen like overnight. I did know my theory, or else I wouldn't have been able to come up with stuff like this. And I've been playing around with composing music as a child. So this just becomes like part of my lifestyle. And that's where I am right now. Hopefully I can be using these clips on the YouTube lives as my YouTube clips. We'll see what happens. I'm testing it out now to see how that works. I don't know if it works with yeah, we're gonna try it out. So thank you for coming over. I'm sorry it's like a last minute thing. I'm just testing it out today to see how this works. I'm getting over my jitters because I don't know how many people are really watching. I do get jitters. I'm like social anxiety problems. It is always nice to talk to it's like I'm talking to myself in the space, right? But if you have any questions musically, if you want to learn about how to put together like a small little studio space, if you want to learn a little bit about how to use it on the phone or the iPad, or how it kind of molds into production, or how it molds into, like, for instance, if you're doing Facebook monetization and all that other stuff, you know, I don't use other people's sounds. I use my own music. So I've not been necessarily flagged on that kind of stuff because I try to be very cognizant of what's happening. So there you go. Thank you again. I will be back hopefully next Tuesday, and we're going to test it out. I'm very much appreciated, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye. Oh, creator tools? Okay. So, okay, let's just see. Start a poll. I'll do that later. But I think this is enough time. Okay, so thank you. Bye.